Hello and welcome in, race fans, to tonight's event for the Cyber Thunder Racing League Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series on the newly repaved North Wilkesboro Speedway, bringing back a classic short track. And we're going to put over 25 trucks on this tiny little track here this evening. Looking forward to it as we begin the second half of our season, at least officially, as of the race count. All of these drivers are just now wrapping up practice and looking forward to qualifying, getting ready to set some hot laps out there. Some drivers, such as Ed Jurgen here in the 92 Chevy Silverado, doing some mock qualifying runs at the back end of practice. And so far through practice, top in the time of the board is Greg Mitchell in the 55-hour points leader, as we watch Ed make a couple more circulations around the track. Joining me alongside, as always, at least back in the booth this time as opposed to last week, is my usual co-host Tom Richter.
Good evening, Arie, and good evening everybody, and thanks for coming out once again for another Tuesday night here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Arie, we've been around for now 12 races. These drivers have kind of followed Cody Gibson. They've kind of followed Greg Mitchell, and Greg Mitchell at the top of the timing charts right now. But a lot of drivers got to be thinking that this could be a really great opportunity for their season to kind of kick into some momentum before we begin our playoff runs here in just a couple of weeks.
Certainly the case. Now it is go time for all of these drivers, whether they're already in the playoff picture or if they are on the outside looking in. Regardless, the pressure is on. It's crunch time if you want to have a chance at that championship and at that very unique challenge presented by the Scrambler Series.
Absolutely, and those drivers are going to be handed whole sorts of challenges. And Arie, we're going to talk a whole lot more about the Scrambler Series, but kind of the Scrambler Series at a glance is that we're going to be taking 12 drivers, 10 of them on points, so the top 10 in points, and then the 2 drivers with the most stage points will be your playoff field of 12. Now, the Scrambler Series gets exciting and unique in the sense that every single race is an elimination race, whether it's the lowest finishing championship eligible driver or the lowest 2 finish championship eligible drivers. Those drivers will be eliminated every single week from the Scrambler Series and from their chance at a championship.
They will be, and consistency is key more than ever, and arguably more than any other championship format. If you're the kind of driver who maybe doesn't get up there and win every race, but you certainly finish 4th or 5th every single race, you're going to go very far in the Scrambler Series, and it might just play into your hands because, and we will see it for certain with at least one surprise exit, I'm predicting, Tom. All it takes is one bad race, and all of a sudden you are on the outside waiting for the redemption round.
Absolutely, and all these drivers, you can never rest, right? Because every single corner could be your last for championship eligibility here, at least until you get to the redemption round. Well, we'll discuss that at another time, but let's just say once you're eliminated, you may not be fully eliminated. But drivers out here got just about 2.5 minutes remaining out in open practice from the newly repaved North Wilkesboro Speedway, following Tanner Marr around right now. In that number 4, I think Tanner is ready for Christmas. Tanner has asked for Christmas paint schemes and all sorts of stuff, but Tanner in the very festive number 4 Chevy Silverado out here tonight.
That's right. We're starting to see the Christmas-themed trucks pop out on track. Tanner leading the charge. Tanner's got his teammate Cody Gibson getting a Christmas truck as well. Cody's not out on track right now, otherwise we'd look at it, and it'd be a good opportunity for me to plug it because I got to design it and had a lot of fun doing that. It was a first ever holiday theme I've ever done on a paint, but I think we'll start to get more and more as the weeks tick by, Tom. I think particularly once we hit December, that might be when we start to see a good chunk of them.
I told you, anything after Halloween is fair game for Christmas, but these drivers getting set to go. A lot of drivers fighting a very loose exit off of turn 4 as we see Ed Jurgen in that Jurgen's lawn care get a little sideways there, and I think that's going to be Calamity Corner out here tonight. Was following a lot in practice, and these drivers were all kind of saying the same thing. Loose, loose, loose on the exit of 4.
let's not forget, Tom, this is a new repave, and for a lot of these drivers, they've either never raced on the new repave or have very little experience here. I can say for myself, I've never touched this track since they added the repave in here, so brand new conditions. In a lot of ways, you got to treat it like a brand new track. Sure, a lot of these guys, maybe all of these guys, have raced North Wilkesboro before, but when you get a full repave like what they did to this track here, even a slight reconfiguration, it might as well be a whole new track.
It may as well, and all these drivers, all your old braking points, all your old markers that you used to use, well, a lot of them are gone. Doesn't even look like the same North Wilkesboro as the 1987 version, which is also here available on iRacing. But drivers have about 30 seconds remaining out here in practice, and looks like Logan Spencer may be one of the last drivers out here. Looks like Tanner's running right there in front of him in the last 20 seconds or so of practice.
Probably getting some last-second mock qualifying runs put in here at the tail end of practice. That's usually how I like to do it, Tom, when I'm behind the wheel. I like to spend the first part of practice dialing in my long run speed and figuring out what I need there, and then for the last bit of practice, I'll just go out there and knock home a couple qualifying runs back-to-back.
Absolutely. As the checkered flag falls over qualifying here, we have 225 laps of racing in front of us tonight, with stage is at lap number 60 and 103. So these drivers have quite longer stages in terms of lap counts out here before we hand out the first batch of stage points. But we are getting set to go qualify and see who's the first to line up down on pit road, as you can see this entire track right here from the blimp view.
Looking forward to some short track action tonight. Ed Jurgen in the 92. We picked up with him in practice, and we're going to pick up with him in qualifying. We'll see what driver of the 92 can do. Sitting top 5 in the points halfway through the season. Ed has had a quietly very, very impressive season so far. He's going to cross the line to begin lap number 1 out of 2. We're expecting lap 2 to be the hot lap, but we'll see what Ed can do.
You see Ed enter low in turns 1 and 2 and then kind of slide up. We're going to see if he does the same thing down here in 3 and 4. Get a good run on the exit of turn 4. He wraps the white line maybe a little bit longer than I would have thought, but he's going to take another low entrance as he currently goes to the top of the board, second behind Brad Holmes now, and halfway down the backstretch he's going to come, and you can hear him playing with the throttle. That's going to be the big thing, Arie. Who can pick up the throttle the earliest in tonight's event?
Absolutely, that's what's going to come down to. Often does at these short tracks. Across the line for Ed, put him P3. Matt Semple, top of the board at the moment. Make it Chris Mackey in the 17 as everyone's getting their times all in around the same time. We're going to jump in and find whoever else is on track. Chris Mackey going to go for lap number 2 here. Could improve off of his 19:25. He's going to need to, because Nathan Dufton goes P1 provisionally on lap number 1. Might have scraped the wall to invalidate lap number 2. We'll see as the 47 comes back around. But how about that from Nathan Dufton?
How about the 47? Not really a name that a lot of people that we talk about on a week-to-week basis, right? He runs clean races, he runs quiet races, and in a lot of ways, that's good enough to make yourself into the top 10, top 5. But Nathan Dufton sitting solidly up inside the top 5 in a qualifying position out there right now is Greg Mitchell. He's going to jump up to second place on the board. Looks like Mr. Belsky, Larry Bell, currently working lap number 2 here for him. First lap, good enough for 16th for the 05.
We'll see what Larry Bell can do through turns 3 and 4, and to the line, keeps that nose pointed square very under control, and Larry Bell is going to bring it home P16 for that qualifying run. We've got Mike Stiverson out on track in that 20 truck, rocking the Cyber Thunder Broadcasting Network colors. We'll see what Mike can do. Currently atop of the board, it's Cody Gibson.
Mike Stiverson's going to begin his first time lap out here, a second time lap out here, and goes to 6th on the board. First time by. Mike was saying he was having a little bit of trouble in practice, but found a lot of speed. Him and his teammate there, Mr. Mitchell, were trying to dive into to some things, and they may have found something in that number 20 truck out here tonight.
They may have. He's going to sit P6, and contrary to my expectations, Tom, it looks like lap 1 has been the money lap for most of these drivers, at least the ones that we followed along with here. We jump over to Lee Campbell in the 60 truck. We'll see where he can put that Ford F-150. Kind of late to get on the throttle right there.
Hear him using a lot of brake. And then, I mean, he's not even on the straightaway until he picks up a full 100%. And the first lap is going to be good enough for 24th for Lee. So he's got some speed to find in that number 60.
Looks like so far Lee's focus is just consistency and keeping that nose clean. Driving like this isn't going to go out there and set the pole, but sometimes that's not what you need. Sometimes you just need to keep that car clean, and P15 at the start is what it's going to be for Lee Campbell in the 60. Driving like that, he's not going to kick the rear end out, and maybe that'll be a good thing.
No other drivers out on track right now. One driver electing not to take a qualifying time. That is Casey Tomlinson in the 52. Casey kept that 52 car down in pit road, and likely will be starting from the tail of the field out here tonight. Arie, we've got 60 laps to stage 1. Fuel's not going to be an issue in either stage 1 or 2, but tires, you heat up those right rears on the exit of the corners, and that could very well be an issue.
It could, and a lot of times it's easy to kind of overdrive your tires on these repaved tracks where, you know, they get a lot faster. You always hear about the older worn-out tracks eating tires, and that's true due to the abrasiveness of the surface. But when you get a fresh repave like this, the track gets a lot faster, and when it gets faster, that's a lot more strain on the tires through the corners. So you kind of, you know, get a balance, both the older tracks and the newer tracks. Something to keep in mind in this race, especially with how loose these trucks are on corner exit.
Absolutely, and the power that these cars are making out here tonight are going to prove a challenge for the field of 26 as the checkered flag falls over qualifying here as we get set to get the grid lined up out here tonight from the North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Carolina Clash 225. Cody Gibson and Greg Mitchell, they're going to be starting on the front row. Second row going to be made up of Nathan Dufton and Andrew Caldwell. Top 5 is rounded out by Chris Mackey. Mike Stiverson starts in 6th place with Matt Semple starting right behind him. Brad Holmes, double-double in that Ford F-150, going to be rolling off 8th. Tanner Marr and Ed Yergin, the top 10.
Just outside of the top 10, we've got Jason Raymond, one of the favorites coming into tonight's event, ahead of Eric Anderson in the 43. Gary Bowman in the 8 truck starts P13, ahead of Philip Van Vliet, the lone Dutchman, in 14th. Lee Campbell, we watched his qualifying lap. He's going to start P15 alongside Dustin Ping in the 81. Rick Thompson starts us off in 17th, ahead of Larry Bell in the 05. Rounding out the top 20, it's Logan Spencer and Steven Music.
And starting outside of the top 20 is Chris Letts in the number 65, followed by Brad Collins, David Gainforth, Cyber Thunder Racing League Hall of Famer, starting 23rd out here tonight. He's going to be starting next to Andy Cork and Paxton Frith, rolling off with the top 25 starting position, and the singular driver that elected not to take a qualifying time out here tonight as the field gets set to roll is Casey Tomlinson.
That was perfect timing there, Tom, on reading that off.
How about it? 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Do we have some issues back here? A little bit of contact between the 67 and the 09. Maybe not.
Probably going to be 2 laps of pacing out here tonight as
issues for Dustin Ping.
Drivers get lined up here. Let's take a look at the
second pace lap by the looks of it.
We're just gonna all right, let's we're gonna do some administrative work around here, take a look at the field, see how everybody is lined up. But yeah, these drivers getting set to go racing out here tonight.
All right. Don't know about you, but I'm ready. Fresh repave, short track action halfway through the season. The pressure is mounting for the playoffs. And Cody Gibson in that 1 truck is going to lead us from the outside line with his biggest rival on the season, Greg Mitchell, to his inside.
And the field of 26 getting ready to go. Cody Gibson, Greg Mitchell, as it's been all season. They're going to bring us to the green flag for the first time out here tonight from North Wilkesboro Speedway, side by side down to turn number 1. Cody Gibson working the top shelf of the Speedway. He's going to get a good launch. Greg Mitchell going to try to slide up in front of the 46 of Caldwell on the backstretch. Not going to be able to do it just yet. It's the battles for second.
Looks like the higher lines are going to be the preferred around this newly reconfigured North Wilkesboro Speedway. We see the 47 of Dufton get a little squirrely. Greg Mitchell is able to control second place ahead of Caldwell in third. Closest battle on track up towards the front, it's Mike Stiverson, Nathan Dufton.
And you see right now on board with Nathan Dufton working the inside lane of the 20 of Mike Stuyvesant. You see the shadows from that 20 truck and the power that Mike Stuyvesant's able to put down as Nathan trying to find a spot up in the outside lane, but that spot's going to be filled by Brad Holmes on the outside.
Looks like it's going to be real easy to be freight trained on the high side here, excuse me. A little bit of the opposite of what you might see at a track like Martinsville, where everyone gets to the bottom and you might be out of luck. Kind of an inverse here as Matt Semple tried to get a nose in there. Gets cut off by the 47 of Duft and just squeezes there in time. That might open the door on the inside for Chris Mackey in the 17 to have a go at Matt Semple.
And those opportunities, Arie, to jump down to the inside when you see something happen in front of you, it's so tempting to jump down there and try to take a spot, but you know that if it doesn't work, you could run the risk of losing a couple of positions.
Very much the case, and up towards the front, we still got our eyes on the top two. Greg Mitchell trying not to let Cody Gibson run away. He's keeping that gap close. They have gapped third place by a little bit as Nathan Dufton slides to the inside. That's going to be our first yellow. We saw that 47 truck get loose a handful of times already, and it looks like that was one too many. Dufton, a driver who had a fantastic showing in qualifying, punching above the usual weight. Fortunately, doesn't get too much damage on that incident. We'll get a replay queued up here and see if we can't see exactly what happened to Mr. Dufton in the 47. No other cars collected. And we will get ready to re-rack and restack this field of 26 drivers. See here, we got a replay going. Brad Holmes on the outside, Nathan Dufton on the inside. This is coming out of turn number 4. You can see that 47's rotating quite a bit right here. Too much rotation. That back end is going to slide out towards that outside wall. At this point, he's got that wheel cranked to the right. You can see it on the front tires. It's too late. Once you get enough momentum on that spin, there is not much you can do. And with that, the 47 truck spins down to the inside wall. I don't think that contact was too bad whatsoever. I would even like to get another look right here, if we can, from on board the 47 in real time. You can see how it just kind of rotates out from under him. Not able to catch that one right there. That's the kind of thing that you're not really going to help with the wheel input, but rather the throttle input. And so many times, it's so easy for that truck to just get out from underneath you.
All right, the field lined up behind Cody Gibson and Greg Mitchell. Cody Gibson already calling that he's going to be taking the outside lane here, Arie. I kind of like that move. Perhaps on fresh tires, the inside lane may be the preferred line, but nobody pitted here, so everybody stayed out with the exception of Casey Thompson came down for service.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think that outside line, if you ask me, I think that outside line is going to be the preferred no matter what. And I think, if anything, being the control car on the restart is going to be the single most valuable thing. At a track like this, even just the way that initial launch and that initial run went, it seems like passing is going to be a difficult thing to do here tonight, and a lot of it is going to have to happen on the long run as the tires start to degrade and we get a little bit of a difference from one truck to the next. We'll keep our eyes on it, but Cody Gibson's going to remain in control.
Cody Gibson, the control car from the outside lane, is going to be the first one as they enter into the restart zone. First one to hit the loud pedal, and he's going to pull a 1-car length lead over Greg Mitchell. Entering into turn number 3, Mike Stuyvesant in a 3-wide situation directly behind this pack with Andrew Caldwell and Matt Semple.
Matt Semple sent it deep into turn number 1 to get to the outside of that 20. What an aggressive move out of that 16 truck, and it paid off, at least for a little bit. Mike Stuyvesant going to have the advantage right there. I think that would have gone better for the 16 if he wasn't 3 wide on the top, but nonetheless, a commendable move. We can see Jason Raymond in that bright, can't-miss red 49 truck. He's making some headway early on in this race. One of the favorites. His team had built him up for this race. He's up 6 positions from where he started, and one of the few drivers making the inside line look pretty formidable, Tom.
And I tell you what, I've talked to Jason a couple of times over the past couple of weeks, and Jason, every time I talk to him, he says, when are we running North Wilkesboro? When, I can't wait for North Wilkesboro. he was very excited for tonight's race. Comes in here starting 11th, already made his way up into the top 5. So looking good, high line, top line, low line, inside line, any line for that number 49 so far.
And that versatility from one line to the next, that is so invaluable at a track like North Wilkesboro with this new repave. When you get a single line track, or at least a track where one line is dominant, being able to use the part of the track that nobody's racing is so good. It reminds me, Tom, a little bit like Bristol, more so back in the day when everybody was running the high side, and that was just a preferred. If you could make the bottom work, you had all that real estate just to yourself because you knew nobody else was going to run down there. Through turns 1 and 2 we go. Closest battle up front, it's third place, Matt Semple, Mike Stiverson, and maybe Jason Raymond jumping in on this equation, as well as the top 2 have skirted away. Cody Gibson, Greg Mitchell, of course. Matt Semple's going to hold on to P3 here. He's made his way past Stiverson and beyond. Jason Raymond has made his way past Mike Stiverson, and with that, Raymond is up 7 positions from where he started, our biggest mover at the moment, maybe looking to take over P3 from the 16. We've got issues on the track as the second yellow flag of the evening has flown, and we have issues for Rick Thompson, who is already back into the pits. Let's take a look here in real time at first. This is battling to the inside of Gary Bowman, just like what happened with Nathan Dufton. Rick Thompson is going to get loose, spin it to the inside. It looks like that truck is actually stuck. Normally, Rick could have reversed out of that, and I bet if we take a look at that from on board and listen to the engine here. I'm not entirely sure. I don't hear anything on the engine. Usually, when you see something like that happens, it means the car got stuck in the wall and you need to tow to the pits, but unsure in Rick Thompson's case. Either way, he is going to lose a couple of laps here. This track being one of the smallest on the circuit means that even under caution, you have got to be oh so careful about losing a lap. And with that, he'll go down 2, maybe 3. At least the damage wasn't notable whatsoever. Pretty much just a mirror identical incident to what happened with the 47, and probably won't be the last time we see that happen tonight. Cody Gibson continues to control this race. Currently our race leader and has led every single one of the 20 laps up to this point. Greg Mitchell in second place. Matt Semple in third. He's up 4 positions from where he started. Jason Raymond in fourth. We just mentioned it a minute ago. Jason Raymond is up 7 positions from where he started. One of the favorites coming into tonight's event. Mike Stiverson up 1. He's in P5 at the moment. Brad Holmes has gone forward. He's in P6. Andrew Caldwell dropping down a couple places. He's in P7 as we run. Ed Jurgen in 8th. Tanner Marr in 9th, and up 4 positions from where he started. Philip Van Vliet, the lone Dutchman. He's made his way up into the top 10. Following up on an earlier incident, Nathan Dufton in the 47. He finds himself running in P24, second to last car on the lead lap at the moment, not able to make headway after that most recent caution. Worth noting, Nathan Dufton did not pit under yellow when he spun, so his tires are probably a little more injured than those around him. As we get the field doubled up and into the restart zone we go. Cody Gibson on the loud pedal. And down into turn 1, he's going to take Jason Raymond with him, who got a fantastic launch. Those two are teammates, mind you. They are going to use that to their advantage to jump Greg Mitchell, and they're going to bring Brad Holmes, maybe even Matt Semple, past the 55 as well. Gibson at the line, but Jason Raymond wants it. We've seen he can make passes work on the inside. Cody Gibson's been defending that outside line for all he's worth, but if there's any truck who can go and take it on a lower line, it might be that 49 truck. We'll see. Their teammates, they know each other's tricks to a certain degree. So we'll see what that 49 can do with that one car. Brad Holmes in third, Matt Semple in fourth. Those two teammates have made it around Greg Mitchell as Matt Semple gets a little loose on the corner. He's actually going to lose that spot, maybe on the outside, to Greg Mitchell in the 55. They are oh so close on corner exit. Greg Mitchell's going to have the advantage there. Through turns 1 and 2 we go. Matt Semple stuck on the inside. He might have Ed Jurgen looking to his outside now. Give this spot to Greg Mitchell. They all sort it out, and up front, Cody Gibson continues to run away from second place teammate Jason Raymond, who is hungry. Continuing to watch this battle here for P5 on track, Matt Semple ahead of Ed Jurgen and Mike Stiverson. Those two are going to go to battle now side by side. Ed Jurgen going to pull ahead and get into the wall. Mike Stiverson going to look for it as there's trouble behind. Philip Van Vliet getting sent up into the wall, and that is going to be caution number 3. Philip Van Vliet maybe with help going around right there. Let's see if we can't figure out exactly what happened to the lone Dutchman here. Looking for Philip Van Vliet. Battling Andrew Caldwell. Into turns 3 and 4 we go. Riding that middle line, Andrew Caldwell on the bottom. Doesn't happen this time around. Maybe it does on corner entry. There it is. Corner entry gets help from the 46. That's going to be a big impact to the rear bumper of the 89 truck. We'll see if we can get one more view here. Perhaps with it slowed down, if we can get around onto the front straightaway and then maybe get an alternative view right here from above. Let's take a look at the chopper cam. Down the front straightaway, we got that battle in front intensifying. Ed Jurgen, he's going to drift up into the wall, open the door for Mike Stiverson. And it looks like Philip comes off of the wall just a little bit. He's going to tag the wall and come down. Andrew Caldwell has got the 89 pinched against the wall quite a bit, and they just kind of come together right there. I don't think that I would put that too much on one driver or the other. They were both racing each other extremely close right there, and sometimes those cars just come together in a bad way, and unfortunately for Philip Van Vliet, that is a hard impact on the rear end of that car. However, the rear end is the end that you need significantly less at a short track like North Wilkesboro. Better that than the front end. Something that he should be able to recover from, at least in some capacity, though it is highly unfortunate. Philip was having a fantastic run to start off this race, well inside the top 10. Good stuff from Mr. Van Vliet. We'll see if he can get back up into the fold. But in the meanwhile, Cody Gibson controls this race, now joined by teammate Jason Raymond, up 9 positions from where he started. He runs P2 ahead of Brad Holmes, Greg Mitchell, and Matt Semple in the top 5. Gonna double it up. Lights are out on the pace car. These cautions are short, and we are getting ready to go back green flag racing.
All right, and we are getting set to go once again. Apologies for disappearing there for a minute. Gotta love overzealous neighbors that just randomly show up at your house on a Tuesday night. So we are getting set to go. Jason Raymond, Cody Gibson on the front row. Green flag back out halfway through stage number 1.
Green flag is out. Cody Gibson with a fantastic jump right there. Brad Holmes maybe going to look to the inside of Jason Raymond. He's not going to get there. This might bring Greg Mitchell back into the picture. He's going to go to the inside of Brad Holmes through turns 3 and 4. Can he make it stick? Not entirely right there. And behind Ed Jurgen and Matt Semple, they're going at it.
You know, all these top 6 or top 7, they kind of settle out for the time being. First side-by-side battle on track. You got Mike Stiverson on working the inside of the 46 of Andrew Caldwell. Got Tanner Marr trying to follow his way through as well. And these drivers trying to get some stage points up here. Drivers going in the right way. Jason Raymond up 9 spots. Drivers going in the wrong way. That 17 of Chris Mackey, you see him there in camera shot on the bottom. And that number 17 down 6 spots from his qualifying effort.
And being on that bottom line, Tom, that is not going to help fix the bleeding right there. That 17 might continue to drop if he can't get that bottom line working. We're going to jump on board with that Napa Chevy Silverado as he's got Dustin Ping to his outside. See a little bit of too wide action ahead. That's Tanner Marr to the inside of Andrew Caldwell. This spot's going to go, and finally, Mackey can find a spot up on the high side. Dustin Ping with that clean air is going to elect to run all of the track from the bottom line up to the wall. Back up front, most of the leaders have gotten themselves single-filed out. Greg Mitchell currently pressuring Brad Holmes for P3. Looking to the inside just about every single corner, but I just don't know if he can fully make that move unless Brad makes a mistake, or if he can get to the outside. I've only really seen one driver make the inside work so far tonight, Tom, and that is that 49 truck running in P2 at the moment.
Yeah, Greg Mitchell's going to continue to take a look down to the inside of turn number 3 there. Just not able to put the power down, Arie, and you see that. Let's see if we can get maybe a little bit of a better shot here. You see the 0-0 able to put the power down when they're side by side like that, coming off the corners, and these drivers just trying to, keep it off of each other. And for the most part, they've done that so far tonight. Just 3 incident cautions so far through the first 40 laps.
That's right, and 2 of those just being self-spins off of turn number 4. Greg Mitchell's going to close in just a little bit, start racing a little closer each time, and all the while trying to work over Brad Holmes. That's bringing Ed Jurgen into the picture in that 92 truck, currently running in P5. Ed Jurgen, one of our better drivers at short tracks. Got to watch out for that 92. Anytime you're beating and banging around these smaller ovals, he's started to become known for, I should say. Greg Mitchell, he's not giving up, Tom. He is, for as much as it hasn't worked so far, he's determined to make that inside work.
It certainly looks like he is committed to trying to work that inside lane and try to get a top 3 for the stage finish, as we're now within 20 laps to go of the stage. But Greg Mitchell trying to make his way into a top 3 running position. It would be very easy in a moment like this, Arie, to kind of line up behind the 0-0, run behind him, and say, I would rather finish 4th in the stage than 6th or 7th if the pack behind us catches it, but doesn't look like they're content to do that, and that's slowly reeling in the pack behind them.
It absolutely is. Further up front, Cody Gibson is starting to put a little bit of breathing room between himself and teammate Jason Raymond, about 1 second of a gap there. You got about another second before you get to P3, this battle right here. Further back, bunch of trucks coming together. That's Dustin Ping that we're seeing holding on to P10, the final stage point out of Gary Bowman, Chris Mackey, 2 drivers who want that stage point. But I tell you what, Tom, Dustin Ping, he's currently on the outside looking in the playoff picture. So if anybody wants these stage points, it's going to be Dustin.
Absolutely. Stage points are one way in to the playoffs. We're going to be taking 2 drivers with the most stage points that miss the playoffs on points to become championship eligible. And you know that a championship is on every single driver's mind here, as we're a little bit past the halfway point in our season. Everybody starts to think about the playoffs, and the points matter a little bit more than they did last week.
They certainly do, and speaking of points further back in the pack right here, every point matters, and we're watching Paxton Frith go at it with Chris Letts and Andy Cork. Philip Van Vliet back here in this pack, Philip being involved in that most recent caution, getting significant damage to the rear end of that truck. Looks like he's still on track, still rolling, still making it happen, as this small pack continues to figure it out amongst themselves, not really able to get away from one another.
Paxton, a new driver to our Tuesday Night Thunder Championship Series, came in a couple of races ago and had some quiet, solid runs so far in that number 7 Ford F-150, but he currently leads Andy Cork and Chris Letts directly behind them. 2 drivers looking to have a good run out here tonight.
Paxton's got a weird way of writing 7 on the side of that truck. I tell you what, Tom, but that is neither here nor there. Up front, Cody Gibson, he stretched that gap. Tom, are we starting to see the tire cliff, as it were?
We may start to be seeing it, right? Jason Raymond had to use up a lot of the good years, as I like to say. All these drivers, with the exception of Casey Tomlinson and Rick Thompson, all of these drivers have yet to make a pit stop, whether it be under green flag or yellow flag. conditions. So Jason Raymond has had to climb his way from an 11th place starting position all the way up to second for some very important stage points out here tonight, and you could start to be seeing that. Last time by, Cody Gibson was just about as fast as Jason Raymond. They kind of came down to the 100th.
And I think, you know, when you're running that close, it's something that I mentioned recently. When you're this close, that difference might just be track position, right? If the second place driver is able to match the first place driver, it makes you wonder, what could that second place driver do if they were the ones with clean air? Just something to keep in your mind as we get ready to end stage 1 here in less than 10 laps. That's going to bring us to pit stops. And all it takes for a shakeup is for somebody to beat Cody Gibson off of pit road.
It absolutely is, and you said this kind of at the top of the show, Arie, is that more important than the low line or the outside lane for the restart is having the control of the restart, and that's what these drivers are going to be racing off of pit road for, to control the restart, to begin stage number 2 here in just about 8 laps before we get there. But battle for stage points back here. Dustin Ping and Tanner Marr, they're trying to battle for some stage points, but Lee Campbell and Gary Bowman trying to also fight their way up there, but Dustin Ping trying to grab a second stage point instead of just one.
He's going to give it everything he's got, and worth mentioning for driver 60, Lee Campbell, we saw it. Oh, caution is going to come out. As a matter of fact, issues for a driver we had just spoken about, Paxton Frith, in that green 7 truck. We're going to see Matt Semple just scoot by right there. Let's see if we can see what happened. I do not believe this caution came out in time to meet the designation to end stage 1. We will wait to get some confirmation as we watch Paxton Frith down into turn number 3 on that high side and off of the corner. So far, so good. Gets a little loose. He's going to go to the inside of Dave Gameforth and get tagged by the 65 of Chris Letts and go around right there. We'll see if we can't find one more view of what happened here. Maybe from a little further back. I think Paxton Frith was going for a move that he thought might be there, maybe a little aggressive to get to the inside of the 101, and he just cuts down. It's just a little too close. The 65 is just still there. Maybe he's expecting to be clear by then, and he's just going to get tagged and go around into the corner. Take some heavy damage on the rear bumper right there. Pretty insignificant damage on the front end right there. Is we've got everyone on pit road. Everybody on pit road. Which tells me that we are looking at the end of the stage. See if we can get a better shot of the pit exit right here. See if anyone gets out before our Stage 1 winner, Cody Gibson. Looks like Larry Bell's on track. 49 is going to come around. It's not going to be close. Greg Mitchell's going to get out in P2 ahead of Jason Raymond, Brad Holmes, Matt Semple, and the rest. We'll keep an eye out for any speeding penalties. Now, here is the question. Larry Bell is our race leader. I think what I'm seeing is that Larry Bell was able to come down on pit road before the rest of the field due to the timing of when pit road opened. If I'm not mistaken, based on timing and scoring, pit road may have entered at just the right time for Larry Bell to enter pit road, and everyone else had to go around one more time, which jumps Larry Bell up 17 positions from where he started into control of this race. He has 2 teammates behind him, and Cody Gibson, Jason Raymond, all drivers of Five Kings Motorsports. Very interesting development right here, and quite a situation for Larry Bell to have found himself in, to now be in control of this race, assuming this all holds, and there's nothing else weird or unexpected that happens here before we get started. We see the 52 of Casey Tomlinson going to be taking the wave around by the looks of it once we get the 1 to go signal, which should be this time by, I do believe. We'll see what Larry does in regards to his teammates right behind him. How does this change things up? Does he cut the 1 truck a break? Or does he go for all he's worth? Lights are on the pace car. Surprised to not see that 52 go around yet. I'm not sure if they're going to make Casey Tomlinson give up those positions. Lights are back out on the pace car. We are going around again while we figure everything out. I'm going to go back to when Larry Bell entered pit road. And we're going to take a look. Everyone ahead of him can't enter. The pit road opens. I'm seeing red lights on the entry right there when Larry Bell comes down. I'm seeing red lights on the entry. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the case, to be quite honest. But either way, race control has their eyes on it. And we'll see what comes of it. Looks like Casey Tomlinson is going to have to drop back to the end of the field. Larry Bell, the control car on the outside. Cody Gibson on the inside. We got 3 teammates up front looking to make something happen. We'll see what happens with the 05 now in control of this race.
Green flag back out as the field comes up to the gearboxes once again.
Down into turn number 3, Larry Bell in control of the race, and now the battle is on for P2. Jason Raymond is going to get ahead of Cody Gibson, and that is monumental for the running of this event. Can he get to the outside of Larry Bell? No, he can't. He's going to have to wait one more time further back. Andrew Caldwell, Greg Mitchell, there side by side in the back half of the top 5. Off of turn number 4, Larry Bell continues to lead this race, but Jason Raymond is going to look to the inside. He is going to go for it the hard way. Cody Gibson might be allowed back into the picture, and this might be disaster for the 49. He needs to make this pass to stay ahead of the 1 truck. And he is going to do it. Cody Gibson stuck on the inside line now and needs to get around the 05. Surely his teammate won't fight him too hard, given he's lost the lead at this point. There he goes. Cody Gibson back up to P2, and now Matt Semple and Greg Mitchell going to look to take over P3 from Larry Bell.
And a whole big kerfuffle happening back here for about the 5th place running position, 4th place running position, as Larry Bell continues his fall from grace. Started up on the front row and starting to lose some positions here. He's got Greg Mitchell, that red and white number 55 Chevy Silverado, filling up the rear view mirror of that black and purple 05 as the outside lane moves around with Caldwell and Semple. They're going to both make their way around him as Brad Holmes and Chris Mackey going to try to do the same thing as well.
I'll tell you what, Tom, ever since you called out that kerfuffle is my favorite word, I've been meaning to opine from saying it on the broadcast, but here we are. As Jason Raymond leads 10 positions up from where he started. That bright red 49 will not be denied, and so far he's living up to the pressure, as Larry Bell, on the other hand, teammate of the 49, continues to drop. Larry Bell got pretty lucky there on that last caution sequence, being able to jump the entire field with the timing of pit lane. That 05 now falling to the clutches of the 17 and the 20, who are real close on corner entry right there. This is a battle for P7 on track. And that bottom line, man, you just do not want to be caught on that bottom line.
You certainly do not. As you see, Greg Mitchell, we saw Greg going to bat with Brad Holmes at the end of the last stage, and doing the same thing here with Andrew Caldwell, but is able to make the pass with a little bit fresher tires here at the beginning of stage number 2. As yellow flags out, Chris Mackey goes around out on the backstretch.
I'm trying to rapidly find that 17 truck. Throw the camera on there. See if Mackey can avoid a pit road related penalty right there, having spun in there. Let's see if we can't take a look at what happened to that 17 truck as we make our way through. Tell you what, this chopper cam has been pretty good for us this evening. Through turns 1 and 2 on corner exit right here. Does the 17 get help from Mike Stiverson in the 20? Is it caused from something else? We can see the 20 truck coming up the track, and he's just barely far enough up to tag that 17. Mike trying to fall back in line behind that 17, no doubt, and was just ever so barely not clear of the 17 truck. Let's watch this again, and let's take a look from on board the 20 truck, and you can see what Mike saw, which was just how close this was. I tell you what, if I were the driver of that 20 truck in that situation, I might have thought I was clear as well, or was about to be clear nonetheless. Just one of those unfortunate racing deals for both the 20, who surely will get an EOL for claiming that right there, the fault of caution, and of course for the 17, who was the car who got spun around. Currently on pit road, it is the 20 of Mike Stuyvesant. Chris Mackey in the 17 as well on pit road. Casey Tomlinson on pit road. Handful of drivers a lap down. Paxton Frith, Brad Collins, Philip Van Vliet, Chris Letts. Rick Thompson had only made it about 17 laps before he pulled off and parked it for the evening.
So now for one of the first times out here tonight, Arie, Cody Gibson, not the control car on this restart here, going to be controlled to the 49 up on the, looks like it's going to be the outside lane for the 49.
That it will be, and this time I think it's a little more significant because the 49 is somebody who's actually, a contender on speed up at the front. Larry Bell was kind of a wild card in here, but Jason Raymond, he's shown that he can run with the best of them tonight. He's going to have control from the outside as we watch the field exit turn 4 and take that green flag. Up on the loud pedal we go. And maybe more importantly, Tom, Greg Mitchell might be able to get around the 1.
Greg Mitchell could be the biggest contender to Cody Gibson out here tonight, outside of Jason Raymond, but these drivers trying to make their way through as Greg's unable to make the pass so far.
He was, I tell you what, he was so close to losing P2 right there. Off of turn number 2, does he this time? Cody Gibson can't quite close the door on him. Greg Mitchell trying what he can on the outside, but to your earlier point, maybe the fresher tires can work on that inside line. Cody Gibson, he's able to cover it off and get back up to that preferred high line. He is not going to let Greg Mitchell get a nose out there so long as he can help it.
Greg Mitchell still hanging tough in the 3rd place position as they run right now. Brad Collins running directly behind him. Matt Semple and Andrew Caldwell not too far behind as they try to make their way through and try to protect the positions, but it's all Jason Raymond out front as they run right now.
That bright red 49 Christmas truck in control. Cody Gibson in 2nd place. Greg Mitchell, he's going to settle into 3rd as Brad Holmes looks for a way around from 4th. That teammate combination of Brad Holmes, Matt Semple, they've had a quietly good night so far, running in the top 5 for the majority of it. We can see Larry Bell is back up to P7, so has recouped a lot from that scrambled drop through the field on that last run. Now comfortably up into the top 10 as we see Chris Mackey on pit road serving a penalty, which is going to hinder the 17's run tonight.
Working lap number 75 of 225 out here as these drivers make their quarter-mile circuits out from North Wilkesboro out here tonight. Greg Mitchell all over the back of that 1 truck of Cody Gibson. Jason Raymond out front by about a half a second over Cody Gibson, but these drivers attempting to make their way through.
That they are, and Greg Mitchell is all over the back bumper of Cody Gibson. He is looking for any possible spot to make a move, be it high, be it low, be it through the middle. That 55 is looking for a way around that 1 truck, and I think Greg understands that in a big way, this could be the deciding factor of the race. If he can get ahead of the 1 and stay out of the 1, he might be able to hold him off on these longer runs. We can see both of them kind of closing back into that 49 truck, or at the very least not letting Jason Raymond get too far ahead.
Absolutely not. All these drivers staying right with each other as we get a couple of things reloaded in here. Had a little bit of a technical hiccup there, but we are back here. Looks like we're going to be under yellow flag conditions here, Arie.
It does indeed. Like slightly delayed on our timing and scoring, but issues for the 60 truck of Lee Campbell. Let's see if we can't figure out exactly what happened with Mr. Campbell here. Looking for the ability to queue up the replay here, though it is not quite happening for me. We will check back in on that replay soon if we can. Well, now it doesn't want me to watch anyone but Lee. There we go. Apologies for that, folks. Unable to get that replay queued up for you, though, by the looks of it on that 60 truck. Based on what I'm seeing, no visual damage, which tells me it very well may have just been an innocent spin, whether that be a self-spin or with help from another driver. That remains to be seen. Going to make a quick pit stop, as is Ed Jurgen on pit road. Casey Tomlinson on pit road as well. Interesting choice from Ed Jurgen to come down in the 92. He's going to drop quite a bit. Take that pit stop here. It seems like a bit early to jump the end of stage 2, which is at lap 103, if I'm not mistaken, Tom.
Absolutely is...
I'm not sure what Tom's thought was going to be right there, but either way, we're doubled up and ready to get back going. Lights right on that pace car. Jason Raymond still in control of this race, and this is not what Greg Mitchell wanted to see right here. He is no longer going to have the opportunity to make it around that one truck from the outside. Brad Holmes fancies himself quite a shot right here to get around that one truck of Cody Gibson if he can. As we are green once again, Jason Raymond in control, gets a great launch, and Brad Holmes is going to get to the outside of Cody Gibson, excuse me. Brad Holmes in that 00, he is fancying a run as he makes his way up into P2. He's going to bring Andrew Caldwell in the 46 along with him. Can Cody Gibson clear on the inside? No, he can't. Let's not forget that these tires are a little older than on the last restart. He might not be able to make that inside line work as good as he could last time, and Brad Holmes is going to fight for everything he's worth to get P2 wrestled away. Cody Gibson seems better through turns 3 and 4, but he's just not able to clear. And Greg Mitchell's probably sitting there thinking, well, if I couldn't do it, at least it brings him back to me. Andrew Caldwell now fancies a shot around Cody Gibson on the outside as Double works his way up into P2, and all the while, Jason Raymond loves what he's seeing.
Absolutely, as these drivers working lap number 91, and Jason Raymond loves to see this in his rearview mirror. Brad Holmes holding up second place right now. Cody Gibson running in third. Andrew Caldwell in fourth as they run side by side. Greg Mitchell rounds out the top 5 as they run.
Looks like our leaders are all going to get single filed out. New name in the picture, Dustin Ping in the 81. One of our drivers on the outside looking in. When it comes to our playoff picture, that 81 car has climbed up 10 positions from where he started, slowly making his way through the field. He's looking to try and get some good stage points before the end of stage 2 right here is Greg Mitchell. Now down into P5, looks to the inside of Andrew Caldwell, and now he's got company on the outside in the form of that 81 truck.
This time by, we're going to see 10 laps remaining in stage number 2 for the second batch of stage points being handed out here in 10 laps, with Gary Bowman, Eric Anderson, Matt Semple, and Tanner Marr on the back half of the top 10 as they run right now, working lap number 94 of 225. Dustin Ping has found some speed in that 81 car, trying to make his truck move forward here in the closing laps of stage 2.
That he is, and Cody Gibson in the 1 is fancying a move to the inside of Brad Holmes, not afraid to try and dive down to the unpreferred line. This battle might not be over yet as Dustin Ping works over Andrew Caldwell from the inside line as well. That's bringing Tanner Marr into the equation a little bit further back. Dustin Ping's going to get that spot wrestled away. That's P5, make it up 11 positions. As Cody Gibson gets alongside Brad Holmes, is he going to be able to do it here? Off of turn number 2, he's able to arc the corner quite a bit, given he's only running that bottom to middle line. Brad Holmes gets real loose on corner entry, and that is going to be enough.
Going to be enough for Cody Gibson, maybe, not just yet, to try to make that pass, but now Dustin Ping is all over the back of Greg Mitchell here as we see 7 laps to go in the stage. Dustin Ping, again, you touched on the point before, Arie, one of the drivers on the outside of the top 10 looking into the playoffs right now, looking for both stage points and a top 10 position in the overall standings.
That he is, and let's not forget that Brad Holmes is on the inside, but just barely. Brad Holmes is on that bubble, and he could use these stage points as well. So that 00 truck fighting for all he's worth. As Cody Gibson tries to get it this time on the inside, he can't quite clear, and it makes me wonder if they're going to be side by side like this at the line. Dustin Ping was ready to clear Greg Mitchell. He does clear Greg Mitchell. And Dustin Ping, Tom, he's on newer tires. It's just now coming to my attention. Dustin Ping last took tires on lap 71. Everyone else up here 56. So it's no wonder that Dustin Ping is a man on a mission right now.
And you can see the distance that Dustin is able to put on corner exits. He's going to take a look down onto the inside of the Cheeto man, Cody Gibson, on the entry to turn number 3. He's able to make his way around Greg Mitchell. Now he sets his sights on Cody Gibson up on the outside lane and put the 81 into a 3rd place running position, and now he's got Brad Holmes right up in his windshield.
I tell you what, that was about as close of a block as you can make. Dustin Ping sliding in front of the 1 truck that last time by. That just barely worked out for Dustin, and I think Cody might hold on to that one a little bit later. As Greg Mitchell to the inside of Cody Gibson, he's going to look to take advantage of the chaos and jump the 1 car before we get our stage yellow. As we make our way through turns 3 and 4, we're going to see 1 to go in stage number 2. Jason Raymond has all but locked it up, but every other position still up for grabs.
After 102 laps down, we see the 1 to go white flag in stage number 2. And the battle is for the stage points. Brad Holmes currently trying to hold off Dustin Ping for a 2nd place finish in the stage here. Is he going to be able to do it? Dustin's going to have 1 opportunity, not going to be able to make it happen. Oh, hold on. He may just make it happen on the exit of 4. It gets a little sideways at the line. And we see the stage yellow come out for the 2nd time out here tonight.
Stage yellow is out once again, and Jason Raymond is going to be our stage 2 winner, ahead of Brad Holmes, who needed those stage points in a big way, as did Dustin Ping in 3rd. Greg Mitchell, importantly, jumps ahead of Cody Gibson in the running order. Matt Semple in 6th, Terramar in 7th, Mike Stiverson in 8th could also use those stage points, as could the 2 that Eric Anderson earned. 1 stage point for Lee Campbell in the 60 truck, and that is our top 10. Just like that, we are looking at pit road entry as all of our drivers pull themselves right on down following that 49 truck of Jason Raymond.
Pit road's going to be a busy place down here, as the entire field, for the most part, looks like Lee Campbell may be staying out. Not sure if that's by design or not, but the entire field, with the exception of Lee Campbell, coming down onto pit road following Jason Raymond behind. And we talked about at the end of stage 1, Arie, we talked about how important it is to win the race off of pit road here. Now, this won't be for the control position, at least because Lee has stayed out on track, but it will be for the front row.
It certainly will, and the higher up you are, the better chance you have to avoid mayhem. As we see that 49 truck led on entry, he's going to lead on exit. Brad Holmes is going to get off in P2, very close ahead of Greg Mitchell right there. Did Dustin Ping get out ahead of Cody Gibson? We'll see down the backstretch as these drivers get it sorted out. Cody Gibson's first pit stall might have just afforded him the advantage over Dustin Ping, as we get this field ready to get bunched back up behind, this time, the Ford F-150 of Lee Campbell, driver of the 60 truck.
Taking a look at our upcoming schedule out here, Arie, we're going to have next week off from the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network booth, but then we go We've got just 3 races remaining before we begin our playoffs. We've got the Charlotte Roval, we've got Talladega, and there's one other that I can't think of right now. But a couple of very different style tracks before we go playoff racing in just a couple of weeks.
Absolutely, we're shaking it up quite a bit from week to week. I'm looking forward to it. I wanted to say there was 2 straight races in North Carolina. So I don't know where that puts us.
Let's cheat here real quick.
Rockingham, there you go.
And then the Roval. Yeah,
that's the one.
Neither one of us remember that, but hey, we're about to go green flag race, and we're able to keep up with that. But the one driver who is keeping up tonight is Jason Raymond on the front row, but Lee Campbell, the control car for this restart.
Great restart from Brad Holmes, but a little bit of wheel spin out of the 60 truck, and now everyone is going to look for the quick way around. Driver on old tires, Lee Campbell, get Brad Holmes through, get Greg Mitchell through, and Cody Gibson, who dominated stage 1, is now stuck behind the 60 truck on the inside line. Dustin Ping is going to get through. Tanner Marr is going to fancy a shot.
And you ride on board here with Matt Semple, and out of his windshield, this is what he sees. Where are you going to go here, Arie? There's nowhere to go. Cody Gibson stuck down up on the inside lane. Brad Holmes under fire from Greg Mitchell a little bit further up. But Matt Semple at the mercy of Tanner Marr right now, running directly in front of him in that number 4 Chevy Silverado, trying to make some real estate work here for this number 16, but not going to happen just yet.
Not going to happen just yet, and Cody Gibson is down into P12 at the moment behind this kerfuffle, and if there was ever a time to use that word, Tom, it is now, as Cody Gibson still can't get through. Now he's stuck behind the 47 of Dufton, and all of a sudden our pole sitter and stage 1 winner is in the mid-pack.
You see Lee Campbell trying to get down and out of the way, but it's going to now put Cody Gibson not in any better of a position. But Cody Gibson finally able to get up on the outside lane there and see some clear traffic in front of him. And you know Cody Gibson's got to be flaming hot Cheetos mad underneath that helmet.
Oh yeah, I would certainly be as well, losing that many positions just like that. And I tell you what, on the flip side of it, drivers who are not so mad about it, just about everybody on track who is able to get around that one truck, as you haven't been able to say the words get around the one truck all that often this season. Now is a great opportunity for the likes of Jason Raymond out front, Brad Holmes in second, and oh, by the way, Dustin Ping, who is in the top 3.
See the field coming out of turn number 4, and everybody going all the way up to the outside retaining wall, but Greg Mitchell putting some heat on the outside retaining quarter panel of Dustin Ping there. See the 55 working the outside lane. See if he's able to put the power down. It looks like he is not able to on the corner there. He's going to still stay side-by-side advantage to the 81. Dustin's going to have an opportunity to clear himself up to the outside lane, and a little bit of a crossover in the middle of 1 and 2. Yellow flag is out. Matt Semple around in turns 1 and 2.
Issues for Matt Semple. We'll take a look at the replay and see if the 16 truck had help, but Matt Semple was having a great run this evening. Up in the back half of the top 5 for much of the race. He's going to send it to the inside of Tanner Marr in the 4. He's going to get loose on entry. He might have just sent it in a little too hard and overcorrects into the outside wall. Single car incident. A little nudge to the outside wall, but doesn't look like he's going to collect any other drivers in there. I want to get a look from on board. Very slow spin right there. It almost looks like that slight elevation change, not elevation, that slight banking change through turn 1 maybe unsettled the 16 with the entry speed he was carrying, and just kind of bounced the rear end of that truck in just a way that made it pretty unhappy. Got him all out of sorts right there. And now we're going to see a little bit of a differing strategy. Cody Gibson is on pit road, having found himself stuck in the pack, potentially deciding that to make his way back up through the pack, he is going to need some fresher tires to do so. Cody Gibson, Lee Campbell going to take those tires after that restart right there. Matt Semple on pit road as well. Chris Mackey on pit road. Up front, no change. Jason Raymond, our stage 2 winner in that bright red 49, is our race leader ahead of double-double Brad Holmes and Dustin Ping in the 81. Up 13 positions, our biggest mover is Dustin. from where he started this race. Jason Raymond up 10, honorary mention, and Andy Cork in the 41 is also up 10 positions from where he started. Another honorary mention for some of our biggest movers at the moment.
So, a little bit of changing gears here, Arie. Cody Gibson, dominant in the early stages of tonight's race, got caught in the wrong line, wrong place, wrong time, right? Now he pitted on the most recent yellow flag here, 12 lap better tires than the cars in front of him here. How do you like Cody's chances here as the field doubles up? We're going to go green flag racing here to work his way through. They do have the extra tires here to use, so I don't hate it in the sense of losing a set of tires, but going from 18th back to the lead is going to be a challenge.
That it is, but you certainly weren't going to do it without some sort of strategy difference. So I like the call from the one. We'll see how good it works out. As into the restart zone we go. Brad Holmes staying glued to the 49. Fantastic restart out of the 00. One of the best restarts we've seen all season. And he's going to stay on the inside looking for a shot at the race lead. And Jason Raymond hold on from the outside.
The 49 is going to drive it down into turn number 3 and set himself up for a good exit on the corner. As they come across the start-finish line, we begin lap number 122 of 225 out here, as Brad Holmes still hanging tough, not able to stay side by side with the race leader. Jason Raymond able to maintain the lead by half a car length as they enter into 3.
They're going to get it all sorted out. Dustin Ping was maybe fancying a shot at the 00 if he could. Would have taken maybe one more lap as Jason Raymond touches the wall, and that might bring Brad back into the equation. Not quite right there, but Jason Raymond's going to have to be careful about that as Dustin Ping now puts the pressure on Brad Holmes, who might have to stop looking forward and start looking behind him.
Taking a look at Dustin Ping from the rear bumper of race leader Jason Raymond. He's got Brad Holmes directly right behind him. Dustin Ping trying to take a look low, but Greg Mitchell, once again, he's going to actually clip the apron with his left side tires, and you just have an entire field of fast trucks behind this 49.
A whole field of fast trucks, hungry trucks, looking for a win at the newly repaved North Wilkesboro Speedway tonight. A little further back in the pack, we've got another gaggle of cars ahead of Cody Gibson, 2x2, and not many places for that one truck to go. Riding behind Lee Campbell at the moment, Stephen Music on the outside. A little bit further ahead, Andy Cork and Logan Spencer. Cody's just going to have to bide his time right here. There's not too much you can do when you're this far back in traffic, especially on a track that races as narrow as North Wilkesboro does.
And this was the concern for Cody Gibson, right? You get behind a 3-wide situation like this, and you can't go anywhere. You're just burning laps. Like, I mean, these drivers are going to be able to... If we get another caution, I would imagine everybody's going to come down and get some tires. But what Cody Gibson's looking to do is he's looking to gain enough spots here where he's going to put himself in a top 10, top 7, maybe a top 6 running position before that happens again and the field equalizes. So every lap that goes along here minimizes his chances of pulling that strategy call.
That it does. He's going to need to clear these guys quickly, and I'm surprised he hasn't dive down to the inside for a crazy 3-wide move yet. I don't know if I would have had that level of patience, but further on ahead, it's Gary Bowman and Larry Bell side by side in a battle for P10 on the track right now. Gary Bowman, he's been in a little bit of a slump as of late, looking to kind of recapture some of that speed that we're used to seeing out of Mr. Bowman. And a top 10 tonight could go a long way for the 8 truck. I think further up ahead, battle intensifying for P2 on the track. Jason Raymond has run away, but Brad Holmes is under pressure from Greg Mitchell, who got around Dustin Ping, and Dustin Ping's not ready to go too far back yet. They're going to have to make it work on the inside, and Brad Holmes has looked pretty formidable on that outside line.
He really has, Arie, but another driver that I've been keeping my eye on out here tonight, having a quiet run, is that number 4 of Tanner Marr. Tanner started 9th out here tonight, currently runs up inside the top 5, and he's earned some stage points as the race is going along out here tonight, running very well back in that 5th place running position. But keep an eye on that number 4. These two get together, these two start racing, he's going to put himself right in a position to take 2nd place.
It's a good call. I think that's been the story of Tanner's season so far. It seems like every single race, you know, he's not starting up at the front and leading laps and winning stages, but every lap that ticks by, he's just a little further up in the field than the lap before, until by the end of it, he's finishing with a solid top 5, top 3, or even a win here or there for that Ford truck. So Tanner continuing his ways as we see Greg Mitchell getting around Brad Holmes, which is not something many drivers have done tonight. Dustin Ping, he's going to fancy a shot around the outside while Brad is trapped on that inside line, not the preferred line, especially not for Brad, who has been a top-line dominant truck. He's going to get a little tag from Dustin right there. He's going to blink out. A couple of connection issues, but Brad Holmes is now going to lose 3 positions. Caution comes out on the racetrack, and that is going to nullify that battle right there. It looks like we have issues for the 41 truck and the 16 of Matt Semple yet again. Let's see if we can't take a look here at what happened with Andy Cork. Comes off of the corner and meets the front bumper of the 16 of Matt Semple. Wrong place, wrong time. Let's see if we can't cue this up again, possibly from on board the 16 of Matt Semple. Based on the onboard shot right there, I'm not sure how much you can do in Matt Semple's shoes right there to avoid that incident. Take a look from the chopper view right here. Andy Cork just exits the corner really low, and the 16's kind of right in that middle line. The two of them just kind of come together. One up, one down. And there's our caution. Interesting developments as the top 2 stay out and everybody else comes down for 4 fresh Goodyears. Greg Mitchell, Dustin Ping, Tanner Marr, the first 3 trucks off of pit road. Jason Raymond stays on track with the oldest tires out of the entire field. Last pit on lap 105. We are working lap 137 at the moment. Cody Gibson pit on lap 117. He's got 20 lap old tires in second place. And third on back, starting with Greg Mitchell, brand new tires. So I think this has just swung wide open for everybody outside of that Five Kings Motorsports bunch up front. Though one of the beneficiaries is that Ford truck of Tanner Marr we were just talking about before the caution. Lap down truck of Andy Cork going to get out of the way on the bottom line, let the field get by him as the lights are out on the pace car, and we look to get this restarted. The inside line is going to have some old tires, but notably that red 49 truck of Jason Raymond, the oldest tires and the control car. Watch for some wheel spin on the restart right here, and for row 2 to pounce. Green
Jason
flag
Raymond
is out.
hits the loud pedal, and green flag is out as everybody races down into turn number 1. Apologies, Arie, didn't mean to jump in and interrupt you there, but sideways for Cody Gibson, gets a little tag from the 55 of Greg Mitchell. Cody Gibson goes around on the exit of 2, no additional contact. Great job by everybody else to miss the 1, but that is not what Cody Gibson wanted to see.
That's not what Cody Gibson wanted to see, nor is it what the 55 wanted to see, Tom, because I want to get a replay, but this may also hurt Greg Mitchell's race if he is at fault for this caution. We are going to open up the chopper cam right here. Now, keep in mind, Cody Gibson's on old tires. He can't get into the corner as deep as these other guys. It looks like Greg Mitchell's actually going to get bumped by Tanner Marr in the 4. Tanner Marr in the 4 pushes the 55, and that goes right into the back bumper of the 1 of Cody Gibson. So Tanner Marr inadvertently taking a teammate out through another race car. Let's see if we can't get another view. Down into the corner, Tanner Marr sends it pretty deep right there and gets into the 55 right about there. You can see it kind of turn the 55. That's just a little bit of a pinball effect right there. 55 into the 1. The 1 is going to go around from that contact to the rear bumper. And with that, I don't think, if I were the 55 of Greg Mitchell, I don't think I would be at fault for that one. So may not hinder the 55's race as much, though Greg Mitchell is on pit road at the moment. So electing to go ahead and pit back to back. Which tells me that the 55 may have been willing to claim that one and go ahead and take new tires while he's at it. This puts Dustin Ping in control of this race for the first time this evening. Amongst all the chaos, 10 cautions, driver 81 now leads this race. Brad Holmes in second, as he has been much of the race. Nathan Dufton in the 47, qualified in the top 5, finds himself back in the top 5, running in third. Tanner Marr in fourth, Mike Stiverson, Eric Anderson, 2 names that we haven't said too much tonight. Also, up towards the front as well. This field has been absolutely flipped on its head, and we are ready to get going green once again. Dustin Ping, Brad Holmes in control of the race.
Brad Holmes, Dustin Ping up on the front row. They go into the restart box. They see the green flag out once again for the Carolina Clash. 225. Dustin Ping hits the loud pedal. He's going to control the field going down to turn number 1 and take the lead for the first time for the number 81 Chevy Silverado out here for Dustin Ping. But Brad Holmes holding on tough on the inside line.
Brad Holmes is determined to make that inside line work if he can, and you mentioned it not that long ago, but watch out for the Ford truck of Tanner Marr, who knows how to work his way into these races. He now runs in P3. Let's not forget what happened the last time 2 of our main contenders were taken out early. Oh, Dustin Ping gets pushed into the corner by Brad Holmes, who gets tagged by Tanner Marr in front of the field. Mike Stiverson collected up. There is a stack up, a parking lot in turn number 4, as the entire field has nowhere to go and finally manages to wiggle their way through. That was the domino effect of all domino effects. And we will try and get a look here. Dustin Ping, who looked to be the big loser on that one, ends up being the big winner as we take a look from the chopper view. Entering turn 3, Brad Holmes just a little too aggressive on entry. He's going to run over the 81. And at this point, it is just mayhem from here. The 4 gets into, see if we can get another view here, into the 00 who led off and gets going around, and there's just nowhere for the entire field to go at this point, as everyone just kind of piles in. See if we can't get one more look. And we'll watch this from on board Tanner Marr in the 4. Slows down for the contact, checks up, gets into the 00. That sends the 4 around. He gets hit from behind. Now he's just on the brakes waiting for everything to figure it out. And the entire field is on the brakes right here because it's a parking lot. Nowhere to go for the 43 of Eric Anderson, nor the 92 of Ed Jurgen, and that puts us in that pinch right there. Dustin Ping, who nearly got spun from the race lead, finds himself leading this race with a pretty clean truck. Nathan Dufton up to P2 at the moment. Mike Stiverson runs in P3. Lee Campbell in P4. And oh, by the way, Mr. Steven Music in the 09 is running in the top 5. And it's not often that we get to say that. So kudos to Steven Music for staying out of the trouble and finding himself up into the top 5 as we get ready to stack up this field one more time. 2x2 all the way through. Dustin Ping still in control, but now the biggest shakeup of all shakeups, Nathan Dufton on the inside. He's going to have a shot.
That 47 was fast in practice and qualifying. Started third out here tonight. What is that 47 able to do? As now he's going to be on the front row. Mike Stiverson on row number 2. Lee Campbell on row number 2. But a great restart for Dustin Ping. He's going to get a 4 or 5 car length jump down into turn number 1. Put Lee Campbell up to the battle for second place over Nathan Dufton right now.
Lee Campbell to the outside of Nathan Dufton, and these two are going to have at it for position number 2. Dustin Ping trying to run and hide for the time being. Mike Stuyvesant in good position as well. Here comes Greg Mitchell, though, one of the fastest trucks this evening, finally finding his way back up through all of the chaos and mayhem, and that 55 truck might still have a say before it's all over.
Greg Mitchell trying to continue his march back towards the front of the field. And oh, by the way, Cody Gibson involved in issues earlier out here tonight. He's buried back in 18th place. He's got a long way to go before he sees the front of the field again. But at the front of the field, all eyes on Lee Campbell, Mike Stuyvesant, Nathan Dufton, Greg Mitchell, and Larry Bell running directly behind these drivers.
Near 3-wide situation for P2 as the 47 and the 60 can't get away from one another. Mike Stuyvesant looking for a way through as caution comes out yet again. Issues for the 05 of Steven Music, who we were just given some flowers to for being in the top 5. Let's see what happened to Mr. Music here on this most recent yellow. It is, well, it's a kerfuffle. You already knew I was going to go there, but let's see what happens. Going down the front straightaway, 3 wide. Music comes up as if kind of only 2 wide. I'm not sure if Music knows he's 3 wide. Jason Raymond's there. He can't go any higher, can the 49 truck, and that's really unfortunate for Jason Raymond, who is one of the fastest trucks tonight. He's going to get some pretty good damage from this one as well. The 19 of Logan Spencer lucks out on the high side right there, getting out of that incident, but looked to me like maybe some miscommunication from the spotter of the 05. Little too close for 3 wide racing. Jason Raymond with potentially terminal damage. One of the fastest trucks tonight, stage 2 winner. He's going to pull it down with significant damage to that truck. And regardless of whether or not it's terminal, Jason Raymond is going to lose multiple laps, which is devastating. Brad Holmes elects to pit as well. Eric Anderson on pit road this time. Steven Music on pit road. We are working lap number 156 at the line. Out of 225, Dustin Ping remains in control of this race. Lee Campbell in second, Nathan Dufton, Mike Stuyvesant, Greg Mitchell. That is our top 5. As we run, Greg Mitchell, one of the fastest drivers this evening, with a great shot to get back up here with a shot at the win, but Dustin Ping has been formidable himself. Cody Gibson, arguably the fastest driver tonight, stuck in P14, down in traffic. Got a long way to go. We get ready to wrap our 12th caution of the evening. Lights are going to go out on the pace car, and we are going to double file these guys up one more time. Dustin Ping going to elect the outside line as the control car. Gives a great opportunity to 4th place Mike Stuyvesant to get a good launch and maybe make it 2nd place out of turn number 2.
Field's going to double up. Dustin Ping, the control car, Lee Campbell, Mike Stuyvesant, the entire top 10. I think at this point, Arie, everybody inside the top 10 has seen the front of the field, and they've seen the back of the field at one point throughout the first 170 laps or so that we've raced out here tonight. But we're about to go green flag racing once again. Barney's got the flag high up in the air. Go, go, go. They see the green flag. Dustin Ping gets a great restart. Mike Stuyvesant and Lee Campbell battle for 2nd as they race down to turn number 1 with Larry Bell and Nathan Dufton right behind him.
Let's see what Mike Stuyvesant can do. He looked faster than the 60 and the 47 with no way around before, but now he has got nothing but the 81 in front of him. 20 truck up into P2. That puts Lee Campbell back into 3rd place as we run, and Mike Stuyvesant is not going to let Dustin Ping run and hide like he did on the last run.
Is absolutely not. He's keeping them right in the crosshairs as they enter down into turn number 3, the south end of the speedway. They're going to come on the exit of the corner. Mike Stuyvesant looks really solid right now here, Arie. He looks very comfortable on the entry to turns 1 and 3. Issues on the back. Dave Gainforth has suspension issues on that 101. We stay green for the time being, but issues for Dave Gainforth left front.
I just caught a glimpse of it, but I'm not entirely sure what happened with the 101. That truck is significantly damaged if he is not able to even keep it out of the wall right there. And so the 101 is on pit road. The caution is officially out. And we'll see if it was, no, it was unrelated. It looks like issues for Nathan Dufton in the 47, so a couple different things to take a look at here. Let's start with the actual yellow Nathan Dufton in the 47. Off of turn number 4, say it ain't so. For the second time this evening, Nathan Dufton self-spins off of turn number 4. Devastating stuff for the 47, who I do believe will have to park that truck from a second incident due to his own fault. Having a great run, some great speed tonight. Let's see if we can't take a look at what happened with Mr. Gainforth right here. One of our
running on the inside of his graybeard teammates here. It'd be interesting to see if the 43 and the 101 maybe make a little bit of contact. Eric's kind of drifting high up to that outside retaining wall. Is that what happens? No, actually Brad on the inside going to make contact with the 101, comes up from the inside lane, and that's a tough situation to be in.
It certainly is. Just nowhere or nothing for Dave Gainforth to do in that situation, just completely unbeknownst to him, and all of a sudden that is some terminal damage, which you really don't like to see. A couple of drivers on pit road at the moment: Brad Holmes, Steven Music, Ed Jurgen, Nathan Dufton, Dave Gainforth, all electing to pit. All of this re-racking, restacking continues to shake the field up just a little bit. Greg Mitchell got himself up in the top 5, but he hasn't been able to make any headway. Now he finds himself P6, which might actually work better for him on the restart, being on that outside line. Cody Gibson finds himself back up to P11. Still got a ways to go. Names up towards the front. Dustin Ping, he's in control of this race. Mike Stiverson, he looked pretty racy there, Tom. He looked like he could keep up with that 81.
He really did, and I was talking to Mike in practice, and he was getting very frustrated with that 20 Toyota Tundra and said, you know, I just can't find the grip in the 20. I can't find the drive off. And, you know, him and Greg, they were working together throughout that practice, and seems to have worked here. Now, last couple of restarts ago, we saw Brad Holmes get a really good restart down up on the inside lane. We'll see if Mike is able to do something similar here and put the pressure on the 81 of Dustin Ping. But for the most part, it's all been the control car as they come to the green flag.
Well, if there's one thing I know, it's that Mike's got a cool setup with a lot of FOVs, so let's see if he can time this restart with the leader. It's pretty good, it's not bad, but Dustin Ping has a fantastic launch down into turn 1. He's going to bring Larry Bell with him, a name that we saw up front a little earlier on with strategy, but now Larry Bell finds himself up here on genuine survival at this point. Greg Mitchell, 4th car on the outside, make a Tekka car on the outside as he's got to contend with Lee Campbell, who's not ready to give up this track position yet.
Greg Mitchell giving the hunt to Larry Bell, and who was that back down there? Is that Lee Campbell down there? Greg Mitchell, Tanner Marr. This little battle of 4 cars right here trying to take 3rd place away as the top 2 drivers. They've kind of separated themselves by about, I don't know, maybe about half a second or so between the leaders and 3rd place, but Greg Mitchell trying to find his way forward and set his sights on that number 20.
And he is doing it quickly. Greg Mitchell clearing that pack right there was the biggest thing he could have done, because now it gets him into relatively clean air, at least clean enough that he can try and pick off these 2 drivers ahead of him. He's got teammate Mike Stiverson right ahead of him, and then Dustin Ping further up the road. We've seen the speed Greg Mitchell has had up to this point this evening, and Mike Stiverson's going to open the door for him. He's going to let him have that position and try and follow him through, as now he sets his sight on race leader Dustin Ping.
New 2nd place runner Greg Mitchell makes his way around Stiverson, but behind that we have a whole lot going on here. Battle for about, we'll call it the 6th place running position, but Cody Gibson in the middle of a hornet's nest, following Larry Bell around, following Lee Campbell around, and just got around Eric Anderson. Is that number 1? Cody Gibson, I tell you what, here, Arie, Cody has had a lot of adversity throughout tonight's race. If he can find himself back in a good position for a late race restart, don't count out that number 1.
You absolutely cannot count out that number 1. Doesn't matter where we are. If it's this season's Cody Gibson, that is not a name that you want to see near you on track because he has been near unstoppable now, up into P6, and he's out of the Hornet's Nest, Tom. So just like with Greg Mitchell further up, getting that relatively clean air, getting workable room on the track is a big deal, and we're going to see that one truck start to pick these guys off in the top 5 and make his way up through the field. All the while, further back in the Hornet's Nest, they're trying to figure it out amongst each other. Eric Anderson, Lee Campbell, Ed Jurgen, add Gary Bowman into the mix. And we might be 3 wide for at least half a moment.
Gary Bowman's going to come into camera frame here on the exit of turn number 4 as they race down the front straightaway here. Not very long straightaways, but Lee Campbell continues to lose a couple of spots. That's going to put Eric Anderson in a defensive position over his friend Ed Jurgen, and Gary Bowman not too far behind. Ed's going to have to take a little bit of an evasive maneuver in order to avoid that number 43 on corner exit. Battles happening all over the speedway out here. Race for the lead. Dustin Ping, he's going to jump high. Greg Mitchell's going to jump to the inside, and side by side at the line, working lap number 177.
Worth noting, Greg Mitchell's tires are newer than what Dustin Ping has on his truck. That is a 6-lap difference on the tires. Greg Mitchell, 6-lap newer tires. We have had a lot of yellow flag action, a lot of caution laps, so that might even it out just a little bit. But Dustin Ping, he's going to fight for everything he's worth. That 81 truck, he knows that if he lets that 55 get in front and control this race, that might be it for his chances tonight. Dustin Ping is going to give it everything he's got.
It could be, Arie, but as these drivers race side by side, as Greg's actually going to be able to make the pass up on the inside, but now Dustin's going to take a crossover down to the inside. As these drivers continue to run, watch that number 20 car running on the bottom right of your screen there. He's slowly closing the gap here the last couple of laps as these drivers have been side by side. That 20 has been one of the fastest cars out on the track.
That he has, as we just barely caught a glimpse of it. Cody Gibson gets really loose through turns 3 and 4 right there, and that's going to slow his momentum, trying to catch up to these top 5. He had gone all the way to the back end of Tanner Marr. He was up here in the battle. He's going to have to work his way up just a little bit more now, as to your point, Mike Stiverson closes in on Dustin Ping. How hard did Dustin Ping push his tires, trying to hold on to the lead for as long as he did?
That's going to be the question we have to answer over these next 40 laps or so, as that's what the drivers see out in the Carolina Clash 225. Lee Campbell continuing to lose a couple of positions out here. Ed Jurgen trying to make his way around Larry Bell in that 05, working the outside lane of the speedway right now. The track is 3 lanes wide here, Arie, but we've seen for the most part tonight drivers really kind of using 2. We've seen a handful of cars using that real top lane of the track, but for the most part, we haven't seen too many making their way up into lane 3.
Yeah, it's a 3-lane track that races like it's a 1.5-lane track in terms of, you know, where you want to be on track and what's really raceable through the corners, and it can be a little deceiving in that sense. It does give you more room in case you ever do need to go 3 wide in the Hornet's Nest, or maybe you get shuffled out of the way or what have you to kind of recover from it. But it's a narrow part of the track that's kind of optimal for the lap time around here, and it makes these wheel-to-wheel battles that much more difficult.
It certainly does, because you don't have the option to put the power down. But one driver that's putting the power down right now is Mike Stiverson, as he is now closed into the back of Dustin Ping. And Greg Mitchell, he's opened up almost 2 seconds of a gap between himself and Dustin Ping, but Mike is all over the back of the 81.
Mike is making moves at the moment. Tanner Marr has not gone anywhere. Quietly running in P4 at the moment, as we see some smoke on the exit of pit road right there. That's going to be Casey Tomlinson with some terminal engine issues down off of the racing surface. And it looks like, is he going to get around to pit road? Just barely going to get it onto pit road in time. Is that 52 early exit? We jump on board with the 81 and the 20. Issues for Mike Stiverson and Dustin Ping. Caution is out. Our second and third place runners, a little bit of a stack up among some of the other drivers trying to get their way out of the mess, and we are going to need another look at this one. As coming out of turn number 4, Dustin Ping in second. He is going to get loose. That truck is sideways already. He is going to get extremely loose as that 81. He tries to correct it. He is going to just keep it out of the wall, but at the expense of Mike Stuyvesant, who he's going to hit significantly on the right front. That is going to be some big damage to that 20 truck, just that wheel-to-wheel contact right there. That is going to send the 20 truck up the track, and a little bit of rear-end damage, but it's mostly that damage to that right front wheel that I would not love to see for Mike Stuyvesant. Unfortunately, caught up from Dustin Ping, losing control off of the corner. Never what you want to see. And now the entire field is going to equalize the tire situation. And there will be no more off-sequence drivers, as it looks like. Greg Mitchell, Tanner Marr, Ed Jurgen. The first three off of pit road. Cody Gibson, Gary Bowman, Logan Spencer. Okay. We have some two-tire takers. Ed Jurgen in P3, Tom, has taken two tires, as has Gary.
Gary Bowman, so teammates there, maybe a little bit of collaboration out of the Lounge Racing Camp. Ed and Gary electing to take two tires. Now, I like this strategy here, Arie, under the assumption that, I mean, we're coming into the closing stages of tonight's race, right? I like this strategy if we don't get anything longer than, say, a 10 or a 12 or a 15 lap run to the checkered flag.
Absolutely. And you know, Tom, another thing I'm seeing is that Cody Gibson is P4. Does Greg Mitchell still take the outside line and therefore benefit the one truck, or does he decide to take the inside?
Who's gonna be on the inside? Is it Tanner?
Tanner.
It's gonna be Ed.
This puts yeah, running in P4, that's the outside line. So Cody Gibson, Greg Mitchell's biggest competition at the moment, is going to have a prime opportunity to come out of corner number 2 in second place, chasing down Greg Mitchell. We might get the heavyweight match after all. Greg Mitchell in control this time. Tanner Marr on the inside. It's going to be lap number 191 at the line.
Green flag back out. Greg Mitchell up through the gearboxes, and Cody Gibson right up in his rearview mirror gets a great restart. Cody Gibson's going to be able to take second place away from Tanner Marr. Driver having a great night, quiet night out here tonight so far. I don't think we've said his name out here once tonight. Is Logan Spencer currently running in fourth, up 15 spots from his qualifying position. That truck looks really clean on that number 19, and we'll see what Logan's able to do in the closing laps out here tonight, as we're about to be within 30 laps to go.
That 19 truck is looking phenomenal, and is also looking a little racy here with Tanner Marr, is Logan Spencer. Looking for what I do believe would be a career high in the Cyber Thunder Racing League for Logan. Kept that nose clean and kept his head down, as Tanner Marr is going to bounce off of the wall through turns 1 and 2 right there. Trying to keep up with our top two is Tanner Marr, and Cody Gibson's trying to put the pressure back on up front, but Greg Mitchell knows the challenge he faces in his mirror, and Greg Mitchell is looking to run away and hide as quickly as he can.
Absolutely. If there's been one driver out here tonight, aside from Jason Raymond, that would have put a battle to the 55, it's Cody Gibson. And halfway through the race, Arie, my whiteboard that I got, I crossed his name off the list. I said, we don't have to worry about Cody Gibson out here tonight, but Cody Gibson, through some strategy, through some race speed, has found his way back up to a second place running position with 30 laps remaining.
That patience paid off, and I think I mentioned it earlier, but I don't know if I would have had the same patience as Gibson has had tonight. He finds himself in the picture now. He's got to go take it from the 55 as we see another battle further back. Gary Bowman on 2 tires, holding on to P8. Mike Stuyvesant trying to make his way back up through the field after getting caught up in the last caution. Paxton Frith, another quiet driver tonight. He's up into the top 10, running in P9 as it sits.
This is about the point right now, Arie, where Gary and Ed, the drivers that are on 2 tires, may start to think about looking for another yellow flag. Get these tires through a heat cycle, allow them to kind of equalize with the 4 tires that you're racing against. We'll see if we do get another yellow flag or if we run green for the next 27 laps in tonight's event. But Gary Bowman, Ed Jurgen, going to be on the defense here if we stay green.
That they are, and battles continue on track. Ed Jurgen, the other driver on 2 tires, to your point, he's currently running in P5. He's holding on pretty good. All things considered, though, he does have the 60 right behind him, the 00 even further back. There's a little bit of damage to go around on most of these trucks right here. So we'll see how much that plays into it. But Lee Campbell, he's going to look to the inside, going for a top 5 position on Ed Jurgen. We'll see if he can get it off of turn number 4. He is 4 tires better than 2. Not quite clear, but he should get it through turns 1 and 2.
They come through the north end of the speedway. Lee Campbell's going to be able to make the pass on the 92, the Jurgen's Lawn Care Chevy Silverado. He's able to make the pass through, but Brad Holmes now down up on the inside. Ed Jurgen's going to be in danger of losing 2 positions here for a top 5 running, top 6 running position as they run here with 24 laps to go out tonight. Greg Mitchell has opened up about a 1.2 second gap over second place Cody Gibson as they run right now. Tanner Marr, the driver that I called out earlier, having a quiet night in tonight's event, currently runs 3rd. Logan Spencer is still hanging on for a solid top 4.
Logan Spencer with a fantastic run so far this evening. Will battle a little further back. Mike Stiverson trying to work over Gary Bowman right here. This is for P8 on track. As we run, every driver in the top 4 has about a second to one another. They have all spread themselves out pretty significantly at this point. As we watch Mike Stiverson try and claw back some of those positions that he had a little earlier on. At one point, looked like he might have been able to go up there and take the lead. But now with damage on that right front, you can see how sideways that 20 truck is getting off of the corner exit.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see him dancing around. And, you know, from a truck that was probably capable of winning the race out here tonight, it's got to be a frustrating night for Mike Stiverson. But, you know, there's an old saying, Arie, that when you're running 9th like Mike is right now, you're still running better than more than half the field. So it's a little bit of give, it's a little bit of take, but it's a lot to take in from Mike.
Yeah, it definitely is, and kudos to Mike for keeping his head down and keeping himself in it, going up there and trying to claw back these positions to get what he can throughout the remainder of this event. Ed Jurgen, he's trying to run away from that 00, but that 00 is looking a little racy at the moment. Lee Campbell got by. He has run off to try and chase down Logan Spencer for P4. But these two are probably going to be going at it before too long right here. Up front, Greg Mitchell has 2 seconds of an advantage on Cody Gibson. Not a gap that I think either of us were ready to see. We thought maybe Cody might have been able to hold on and really give Greg a challenge right here. We'll see if he can, you know, make a charge back up to him in the remaining 17 laps, but Greg is running hid.
Yeah, he really has, and you got to kind of wonder here, Arie. We talked about the tire fall off that we saw with the issues of the 49 earlier. Well, with the 49 earlier in tonight's race in stage number 1. You know, could Greg be putting too much on his tires right here and over the next 15 laps see Cody Gibson close a little bit? I'll tell you what, though, Greg was well faster than Cody Gibson last time by, about 0.2 faster for this number 55.
Well, I tell you what, Tom, I've had a great many battles with that 55 truck of Greg Mitchell. If there's one thing that I know for sure, when Greg is leading a race, he does not abuse those tires whatsoever. He knows how to control them. So I think at this point, without a caution, the 55 is going to be long gone as we continue to watch this battle further back. Mike Stiverson, Gary Bowman, they're going to bring Larry Bell into the equation. That 05, he's been good tonight. He's been up towards the front making some headway. And it looks to me like I thought Matt Semple was on the lead lap there. Matt Semple in 15th. He's a couple laps down, so he's not in this conversation as Mike Stiverson gets the advantage. And Larry Bell to the inside. He's actually going to lose control of that truck down to the inside. We stay green as he gets back up to speed right here, but unfortunate for Larry Bell, who was looking for some good positions right there. That does put Andy Cork in the top 10 in that damage 41 truck, looking for a fantastic result tonight.
Yeah, having a great run. Andy Cork, one of the long-standing members of the Cyber Thunder Racing League. And, you know, we've kind of talked about it throughout the the schedule here over the past 13 races, and you always love to see Andy Cork and Eric and Dave and those kind of drivers run well out here and, you know, have a good run, have a good points night as these drivers try to fight their way into the top 10 in points with just a handful of races remaining. They got a tall task ahead of them, but nights like tonight will certainly help that cause.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Closest battle on track, one of them at the very least. Logan Spencer holding on to P4, looking for a career best finish. Lee Campbell not ready to give it up yet. That 60 truck is on a mission, and we talked about it all the way back in qualifying. It seems like it was so long ago at this point tonight, Tom, but Lee Campbell has been running a line that is very consistent, very safe, and while he's giving up speed running the line that he's running, he is saving those tires in a big way, and as the run goes on, that 60 truck gets better and better. We haven't really had long runs tonight, but now is one of those times where we're seeing Lee be able to kind of flex that long run muscle with the speed he's giving up on the short runs.
Yeah, see if he's able to make his way around. Logan Spencer right now, he may be able to slide up in front of him, and yes, he is. And all these drivers now, Arie, with 8 laps to go, every single one of these drivers is saying, okay, we have 8 laps to go. If we get a caution now, do I pit? If we get a caution next lap, do I pit? If we get a caution in 3 laps, do I pit? So all these drivers play in all sorts of scenarios for a very real possibility of a yellow flag coming over here in the next 7 laps from tonight's event.
I think so far, if it comes out, I pit, but man, it's a difficult choice. I mean, we've got 13 cars on the lead lap, and we've seen how hard it is to pass, but I feel like I might want those new tires as Mike Syverson looks to the inside of Brad Holmes for P7. Trying to get there, trying to make something happen. Brad Holmes has fallen away from Ed Jurgen right here, and Mike Syverson's going to look to pick off one more driver. Both of these drivers can use all of the points that they can get. Mike Syverson, he's on the outside looking in. Brad Holmes, he's on the inside looking out, as it were. Across the line, just about neck and neck. Mike Syverson might just get there.
The 20 on the inside of Brad Holmes trying to make a pass before the conclusion of tonight's event as we see just 4 laps to go. Going to be 3 next time by as these drivers click these times off in about 19-second intervals. So these laps sure do go by quick as they continue to wind down out here tonight. Still not able to make a pass on the 0-0, but staying side by side.
Not ready to give it up yet and might still have a chance to get there before it's over. 3 laps to go for Greg Mitchell up front, waiting to see that white flag. Does not want to see a yellow flag, as that would shake everything up right here. Mike Syverson trying to make it happen on the inside of Brad Holmes. Battle for P7, and they are continuing to go at it. Unresolved, but Mike Syverson just lap by lap, it looks like he's just got a little bit more and a little bit more than the last time around. Brad Holmes dives it in. That was extremely deep into the corner. He somehow makes the stick. That white flag is in the air for Greg Mitchell as these two continue to battle it out.
They certainly do. Brad's going to slide a little bit high on the exit of turn number 4 there, but up front it's all Greg Mitchell by 3 seconds over second place Cody Gibson. Greg Mitchell, the short track driver out here tonight at North Wilkesboro, takes the checkered flag to pick up his 5th win of the season as we see this battle conclude on the exit of turn number 4. Stuyvesant with the drive on the inside and gonna take that spot away from Brad Holmes for 7th.
Great battle from these two to end it off, and great race from our race winner, Greg Mitchell, in that 55 truck. Went up there and made it happen on a short track night. We had heard him talk about looking forward to North Wilkesboro. I think it was something to the effect of, couldn't make it happen when I was on track, but looking forward to an opportunity again. So shout out to Greg Mitchell for making it happen. Went out there and overcame adversity, as did Cody Gibson coming home in P2. Both of those drivers had probably seen every single position in the entire field before it was all said and done.
Absolutely. As we try to gather up your top 3 finishers out here tonight, we're going to wait on Mr. Gibson here for just a moment. But before we do that, we're going to talk to the 3rd place finisher out here tonight. That is Tanner Marr, driver of the number 4 truck out here tonight from Smithsgrove. Tanner, Tom, and Arie up in the booth. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
Hey, we're doing all right. We saw a whole lot of beating and banging out there tonight. We saw a whole lot of up and down. We saw the field flipped on its head a couple of times. 225 laps. You got to be pretty wore out.
Yeah, we're tired. We're tired, but I'm happy with that. A third. I think I was an 8th place truck at best. That's what we were kind of talking about earlier in the race. I just could not find no speed here, which is crazy because I love the short tracks, right? But just felt uncomfortable. Would be the best way to describe the race for myself tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You started 9th on the board out here tonight, and you know, we saw you work your way up quietly. At one point, I even said you were probably the quietest driver out on the track. Truck looks like it just rolled off a pit road 225 laps ago. Kind of bring us through your race and how you managed to go from 9th to 3rd in these past 200 plus laps.
Well, I'll be honest. People may not think it, but I do try to be as respectful as I can and keep the truck clean. I think to finish first you must finish, right? So I do try my best to not only protect others around me, but mainly protect my own truck, right? It was hard tonight. I know I had a little skirmish. Greg, I think, got in the back of Cody, and either I couldn't get checked up or something. I really don't know what happened. I ain't watched it yet. But got a 4X from that, so a little bummed out. Thought we would have a 0X race. But yeah, just kind of just being patient, just waiting for stuff to kind of fall in my lap.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, they kind of fell your way towards the end of the race. You're coming home 3rd place out here tonight. Now, we've got the Charlotte Roval, we've got Rockingham next week, and we got Talladega. We got 3 races to end the regular season here. Before we begin our Scrambler Series, how are you approaching these next 3 races, knowing that, you know, one wrong move could put you in a position where, you know, you need to perform very well at Talladega?
So I got blessed, lucky, all that at Talladega last year. I had to win to make it.
You
right?
did.
And I got lucky. I'm praying that we're not in that position again, because going into Talladega in that type of position is never fun. Not fun at all.
It certainly isn't, but well, Tanner, you come out of here tonight with a podium finish. We're going to open up the floor for you. Any hays and highs that you want to say hello to watching that number 4 Christmas. Arie thinks it's too early for Christmas. I think it's perfectly fine. That number 4 Christmas truck, the floor is all yours.
I appreciate it. I got to thank y'all. First and foremost, I know y'all would much rather be out here racing and probably beating us, right? So thank y'all for that. 5 Kings Motorsports, raceepi.com. You can tell my little boy's bothering me right now, so I'm a little flustered. That's basically all I got. I know Cody will come up here and he'll thank the gang, but thank y'all for what y'all do. It's best series we run in by far.
All right, Mr. Marr finishing 3rd out here tonight. 2nd place going to be the Cheeto Man. That is Cody Gibson with Arie Heinzman.
That's right. I've got our runner-up finisher tonight, Stage 1 winner, Cody Gibson, in that Flamin' Hot Cheetos Christmas truck tonight in North Wilkesboro. Cody, you had maybe the most interesting race any driver has had all season long, I tell you what, and we were there for most all of it, watching through the highs, the lows, the being stuck behind other drivers until you fall back to last place pretty much. Walk us through your race and just overcoming all of that adversity to have a shot at the end.
Well, I mean, it was a lot of adversity. I mean, I was started in the front. Everything was looking up on stage 1. Then, I don't know. I just lost it. I don't know if I got out of my momentum or how I was running my line there in stage 2. But then chaos happened. Greg accidentally got into me. Had to go to the back. I would have had my lucky dog in that big pile up, but I had to stop on the track, so I had to wait to the next one. I mean, it was just an up and down night. I'm glad to finish P2.
Absolutely. I mean, after a night like that, that's gotta feel like a big relief, though. At the end of the day, I don't know about you, but I know if it were me, it would sting just that little bit more that the biggest rival on track was the one to take the checkered flag tonight, of course, being Greg. You two have been going at it all season long, and this time he comes out on top with it. But we're getting into crunch time. We're getting ready to get into the playoffs, and I know you'll be ready to strike back. How do you feel about Rockingham in 1 week's time? If I recall, the last time we were there, you had nearly won.
I I don't know. I mean, I guess do a little practice, see how it feels, and go from there. I mean, I don't even remember how I finished Rockingham. I guess you said I almost won, so I guess I finished second. But I will say, like tonight, I think when Greg got into me, it just gave me a little bit of damage, and it just made the truck super loose coming off the corners. And I thought I would have had something on the restart, but I didn't have anything. It was just too loose.
All right, as it goes sometimes, indeed, but great run nonetheless, scoring some more big points out there. Cody, I'll open up the floor to you to give any Hayes Highs shout-outs, thank yous, and all the sorts before we let you go celebrate with the team.
I'd like to thank the sponsor for tonight's race. You two up in the booth putting this thing on. I know y'all'd much rather be on the track. I don't know about tonight, but other weeks y'all would. But my 5 King teammates that was all showed up tonight, and to you for this beautiful Christmas truck.
All right, there you have it. That is our P2 finisher, Cody Gibson, in the 1 truck, which brings us to our big race winner on the evening, who I believe Tom is caught up with.
Yeah, I have caught up with the driver, the number 55 out of Austin, Texas, Greg Mitchell. Tom and Arie up in the booth. How you doing tonight, sir?
Doing good, Tom. How you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing all right. We're probably a lot less wore out than you guys were. We saw some ups and downs, some race strategy that we were like, that's never going to work. Somehow it all kind of came back together and converged at the end. But the 55 finds himself in a familiar place in victory lane. Greg, kind of bring us through. How are you feeling about your thoughts coming into tonight's race? Kind of being the first true short track that we've run out here this season.
I felt pretty good. We ran here, I think, what did we figure out, two seasons ago, and Arie and I were pretty much racing hard the whole time. So I think that was the first time I'd ever run here. But I really like short tracks. I like any braking track. I feel like I do pretty well there. So tonight was a little it was a lot of a roller coaster tonight because we had a lot of cautions. So we kind of had to play your stops right and kind of figure out if we were going to get a long run. And then I shot myself in the foot a little getting into the back of Cody and that stack up into 1. So had to go to the back and make it a little harder on myself, but luckily we got back to the front without any damage on the truck.
Yeah, at the end of the night, you found your way back up towards the front. Greg, I had messaged you earlier today, and I said you were 22 points away from being mathematically locked in, no winning in this series. We'll have to see if you found those 22 points over the 10th place car. So now, even if you're not mathematically locked in, let's just say you're comfortably locked into the playoffs. We go into the Scrambler Series. You've never raced anything like the Scrambler Series. What are your thoughts going into the Scrambler Series, knowing that every race could be your last? Is your goal just to kind of survive the first 4 or 5 races of it, or how are you approaching the Scrambler Series?
Yeah, I don't know, man, because it's a whole different mindset. I mean, racing for the win is almost riskier than riding around by yourself in 8th place. So it's a whole new dynamic. You just want to survive. It's going to be really weird because, I mean, points don't matter. Stage points, there's no stage points. So it's a whole different mindset. I think I'll be doing a lot of tracking of where other drivers are, the ones that are in the playoffs, and just so I kind of have an idea where I want to run. But at the same time, I don't want to just ride around. I still want to race for the win too. So that's the number one goal is, you want to win. But yeah, it will be a little bit of a different mindset, that's for sure.
It certainly will, and we're going to see how it plays out, Greg. But you and Cody Gibson have been the dominant drivers this season. You come home with another 1-2 finish out here tonight. Greg, we're going to open up the floor for anybody you want to say hello to back home in Texas watching you finish with the checkered flag out here tonight. The floor is all yours.
Thank you to you guys, as always, for putting on an awesome show. Love to go back and watch the broadcast every single week. So thank you for all that you guys do. You guys follow the storylines awesome. So love that. And thank you to Mike for sponsoring tonight.
All right, Greg Mitchell, the winner out here tonight. Greg, congratulations, and we'll catch up with you another time here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. All right, Arie, that was a whole lot. the 225 laps of racing out here tonight. Greg Mitchell takes the victory out here through what we kind of thought could have been the opportunity for a driver to get their first win of the season out here tonight was not the case.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, Tom, there were times in the race where I thought maybe we weren't even going to see a first win on the season, but maybe a first career win out of some of the drivers that were up there battling it out through the middle to late part of the race. And everything just kind of kept flipping upside down and upside down and inside out and over and around. And by the time it all shook out, hey, wouldn't you know, we got a top 3 that we would have seen on pretty much any other given week. So sometimes that's just how it goes. And well, Greg Mitchell has gone out there and taken another one on an oval, which has been pretty hard to do out of the clutches of Cody Gibson.
Yes, he has. Greg Mitchell takes the checkered flag out here this evening. As we run down the results from tonight's race, Greg Mitchell picks up another win on the season. Cody Gibson's going to come home second place. Cody Gibson, it's hard for Cody Gibson to be disappointed in that second place finish after everything he had to overcome. Tanner Marr had a quiet night to round out the podium as they run. Lee Campbell had a solid top 5, followed by Logan Spencer. Great run for the number 19. We kind of spoke about it in the middle of the race, but Logan had a great run out there tonight. Ed Jurgen's going to come home in 6th place, followed by Mike Stiverson, what could have been for that number 20 Toyota Tundra, followed by Brad Holmes, Gary Bowman, and a good solid run for Andy Quirk rounds out the top 10.
In 11th place, it's Larry Bell in the 05, followed by Paxton Frith, driver of the 7. Steven Music brings us home in 13th, Eric Anderson in 14th, Matt Semple in the 16 truck brings us home in 15th. Andrew Caldwell, 16th, Dustin Ping, 17th, Casey Tomlinson in 18th, Nathan Dufton in 19th, and rounding out the top 20, Dave Gainforth.
And on the outside of the top 20, it is Jason Raymond, led a whole bunch of laps in Stage 2. Had terminal damage from an incident, and that put the 49 behind the wall for the night. Chris Mackey's going to come home 22nd place out here tonight after serving a black flag. Philip Van Vliet going to come home 23rd, followed by Chris Letts, Brad Collins, and Rick Thompson round out the field of 26 drivers out here this evening.
Well, I tell you what, Tom, I think I think we might be as tired as all of the drivers are after that showing tonight. That was about as chaotic and grueling a race as it gets, and very fitting for a short track. We get ready to go to Rockingham, which is another big challenge in and of itself next week. I'm looking forward to that one. That's definitely a driver's track, if there ever was one. So looking forward to see what we see out there.
Yeah, Rockingham's going to be a whole lot of fun as these drivers make their way. We like to go to some of the unconventional tracks here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. But if you enjoyed tonight's show, make sure that you like the stream, get notified every single time we go live, and subscribe as well. As Arie and I, we're going to be off next week, but in 2 weeks' time, we're going to be taking a week off for some holidays, for some Thanksgiving, and we'll be back here in Tuesday night in 2 weeks.
That we will. Looking forward to it. Have a great Thanksgiving to all of you racing fans out there, and we will be back in 2 weeks' time to continue to set the playoff picture.